Is a former Brexit Party MEP, and he joins me now. We're going to be talking about all things levelling up. Ben, I've had a conversation with you quite recently about levelling up, actually, and you had a really fascinating insight, I think. We're seeing a load of opportunities open up, though, in green manufacturing. I know you're quite sceptical of the government's plans on net zero, but is that not a route to actually level up the country by going full steam ahead and leading the world on net zero?
Well, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think the technology exists yet in order to deliver net zero without a serious economic impact. And by the Treasury's own estimates, that's going to be £1.4 trillion between now and their target of 2050 to hit this net zero target. That's more than £50 billion a year, every year between now and 2050. The only way that can be delivered is by levying taxes on people. And when you levy taxes abroad, in this broad way across the nation, it's bound to hit the working and middle classes much harder than it hits the wealthy. The wealthy can take an increase in fuel costs. They can take an increase in electricity costs, in the cost of heating their homes and so on. But the poor can't. The working class can't. It absolutely nails them. So if there's a desire to level up the country, what the Prime Minister has to do is actually make a real tilt at lowering the cost of living, not increasing it through this pursuit of net zero. The technology simply doesn't exist to get us there without significant cost.
So are you worried then, frankly, that this levelling up agenda is going to amount to absolutely nothing? Is it your view that, because a lot of people watching this, Ben, will say, well, hang on a minute, Boris actually delivered Brexit, so can't he deliver levelling up as well?
Well, I think, Darren, you know what my view on his delivering Brexit is. He hasn't delivered Brexit. The point about Brexit was to deliver the United Kingdom out of the EU as one United Kingdom, but we've left Northern Ireland behind. We've left our fishing rights behind. We have tied ourselves into lunar orbit around very significant amounts of EU law, including a commitment in the Trade and Cooperation Agreement to hitting net zero by 2050. Effectively, what Boris Johnson has done is committed this country to being a state interventionist, high-tax levying country for at least the next 30 years if we remain committed to the terms of the TCA. And so this notion that he's a conservative with a desire to cut taxes, levelling up the country, is about as daft a notion as the one you just propounded, that he's delivered Brexit. He hasn't delivered Brexit. What he's done is leave a very significant portion of the United Kingdom tied into EU law, and part of our country behind. And it's a great shame, because actually a proper Brexit, Darren, give me a second here, a proper Brexit would have enabled us to deregulate, which is obviously a lowering of burdens on business and therefore higher profitability and more money to go around, and the opportunity to cut taxes significantly. And we've given up that opportunity.
So Lord Frost, then, who was the former Brexit minister attending Cabinet, he's come out and said, actually, we need to scrap essentially the ban on fracking and get fracking to actually help us deliver things like net zero, because that and indeed lower costs of living for the poorest in society, because actually it's going to lower the cost of bills. So are they the sort of moves that you would like to see the United Kingdom actually take? Because a lot of people might say, hang on, Ben, you're being slightly unfair here. Look at the way in which we've managed to, outside of the EU, outside of the European Medicines Agency, actually deliver one of the fastest vaccine rollouts in the world.
Yeah, and that is all credit to Oxford University, AstraZeneca, and the Prime Minister's vision to champion the release of that vaccine. And absolutely, being outside the European Medicines Agency and being subject to the MHRA instead was enabled us to deliver that vaccine program. So 10 out of 10 for that. I'm not saying that the Prime Minister has failed to deliver in every single respect as Prime Minister. He did a great job with the vaccine program. But in terms of levelling up the country and in terms of delivering Brexit, he has fundamentally failed. And the policies he's adopted will not level up the country. Lockdown, which is a massive burden on the working and middle classes, was a levelling down policy. net zero, unless we develop technology very quickly, and we can only hope that we do, will be a levelling down policy. Increasing national insurance by 1.25% is a levelling down policy. Refusing to eliminate VAT on fuel is a levelling down policy. These are all things that hit the working and middle classes harder. So it doesn't matter whether you live in the north, in peripheral London, in Northern Ireland, in Scotland. All these things impact you more greatly if you're already, a working class or poor.